The Palestinian Health Ministry has reported that Israeli forces have killed at least 7 people and injured several others. Local residents say a missile was fired from the air and it destroyed a house. Meanwhile, the Israeli military said it struck a joint operations center which served as a command center for fighters from the Jenin Brigade. However, no further details were given by the army. Last month, Israeli forces killed 3 militant gunmen near Jenin. This was the first drone strike in the West Bank since 2006. The French police arrested 157 people during what was a relatively quieter night. This was only a fraction of the numbers taken in on previous days of continual unrest. This comes after the grandmother of the teenager shot in France urged for an end to the ongoing riots. 17-year-old Nahel M. was killed by the police during a traffic stop in a Paris suburb. His grandmother, Nadia, had said that she wants the nationwide rioting triggered by his death to end. She added that the rioters are using his death as an excuse to cause havoc and that the family wants calm. Earlier, 45,000 police were deployed in the Paris suburb of Nanterre. Since the shooting on Tuesday, rioters have torched cars, looted stores and targeted state institutions, town halls and police stations. They also attacked the home of the mayor of L'Île-et-Rose. 4 people have been injured in an explosion at a building in Tokyo. The building is located near Shimbashi Station. The Tokyo Fire Department reached the location after a passers-by reported the blast. Smoke was seen coming from the second floor of the building. Broken glass and debris was observed scattered around the area. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department is investigating the incident further. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar has said that Ukrainian forces are resisting a Russian onslaught in eastern areas of the front and face difficulties in the northeast, but are making progress near the shattered city of Bakhmut and in the south. Meanwhile, Russian forces have said that they had repelled Ukrainian attacks near villages ringing Bakhmut and in areas farther south, particularly Valyar. Ukraine's military is engaged in a counteroffensive to recapture areas of the east and south seized by Russia. Ukrainian forces have said that they recaptured 37 square kilometers over the last week. On Sunday, Russia launched an overnight drone attack on Kiev and the surrounding region after a 12-day break. Russia's envoy to the United Nations has said that there were no grounds to maintain the status quo of the Black Sea grain deal. The deal is set to expire on July 18th. Envoy Gennady Gatilov said that the implementation of Russia's conditions for the extensions of the agreement was stalling. Those conditions included the reconnection of the Russian Agricultural Bank to the SWIFT banking payment system. The Black Sea deal was brokered between Russia and Ukraine by the United Nations and Turkey in July last year. It aimed to prevent a global food crisis by allowing Ukrainian grain trapped by Russia's invasion to be safely exported from Black Sea ports. Last week, the United Nations expressed concerns that no new ships had been registered under the Black Sea deal since June 26th. Clashes between Sudan's army and paramilitary rapid support forces intensified on Sunday. Air and artillery strikes as well as small arms fire could be heard, particularly in Omdurman as well as the capital Khartoum. The RSF said it brought down an army warplane and a drone in Bahri. This comes as the war in the country's capital and western regions enters its 12th week, with no attempts in sight to bring a peaceful end to the conflict. The RSF has been accused of looting and occupying houses, while the army has focused on air and artillery strikes. Talks in Jeddah, sponsored by the United States and Saudi Arabia, were suspended last month. Two people were killed and 28 others injured in a mass shooting in Baltimore in Maryland during the early hours of Sunday. Officials have now urged the community to come forward with any information or videos. Acting Commissioner of the Baltimore Police Department Richard Worley said that the police were still searching for multiple suspects. Three people have died in yet another ethnic clash in India's northeastern state of Manipur during the wee hours of Sunday. Relatives of the victims were seen mourning the deaths as they gathered in a community hall where State Chief Minister Biren Singh offered his condolences. Since clashes broke out between ethnic groups in Manipur in early May, at least 80 people have been killed and more than 40,000 have fled their homes. Sporadic incidents of violence and arson still occur, despite the heavy presence of security forces in parts of the remote state. Several rounds of peace talks between the groups have been held, but they have failed to completely stop violent incidents. Taiwan's military carried out live-fire drills on its strategically located southern coast. The military fired missiles from highly mobile armored vehicles to destroy targets close to the shore in a simulation focused on repelling invading forces. Meanwhile, China has ramped up military pressure over the past 3 years to try to assert its sovereign claim on Taiwan. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is set to visit Beijing this week. This will be the second trip by a U.S. cabinet official to China since the ties between the two countries deteriorated earlier this year. The trip is scheduled for July 6th to 9th. The U.S. Treasury Department said that Yellen expected to raise the importance for both countries to responsibly manage their relationship, communicate directly about areas of concern, and work together to address global challenges. Hong Kong police have accused 8 overseas-based activists of serious national security offences. The police have offered rewards for information leading to any arrest. The activists are based in various places, including the United States, Britain and Australia. They have been charged under a national security law that Beijing imposed on the former British colony in 2020, after the financial hub was rocked by protracted anti-China protests the previous year. The European Union will deepen cooperation with Japan on semiconductors. The countries will move to strengthen control over a technology vital for defense, electronic and automotive industries. The European Commissioner for Internal Market, Thierry Breton, believes that it's extremely important to secure the supply chain of semiconductors. He is currently discussing cooperation on chips and artificial intelligence in Tokyo with the government and companies. Breton say the EU and Japan will work together to monitor the chip supply chain and facilitate exchange of researchers and engineers. A video of Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has sparked a debate on social media. The video shows the president's convoy consisting of over 100 vehicles that followed him from the airport. Tinubu was on a week-long tour of France and London. The viral video has triggered questions over the cost of governance, this at a time when Nigerians are grappling with high fuel prices. President Tinubu had earlier removed fuel subsidies after coming to power last month.
Go back! Go back, go back, go back, go back! Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa, whoa!
Guatemalan presidential candidate Bernardo Arevalo has appealed to revoke the provisional injunction by the country's highest court after it suspended the release of official election results to review the ballot. This comes amid Guatemalans demanding new elections, arguing an alleged electoral fraud. Guatemalans are protesting outside the Supreme Electoral Tribunal the OAS has urged to respect the expression of the people in order to maintain the fullest confidence of the citizens and the international community. Let's talk about climate on Speed News. According to experts, global climate is nearing a point of no return. The target of keeping long-term global warming within 1.5 degrees Celsius is moving out of reach, with nations failing to set more ambitious goals despite months of record-breaking heat on land and even sea. As envoys gathered in Bonn in early June to prepare for this year's annual climate talks in November, average global surface air temperatures were more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels for several days. This was the first time that this threshold was breached in the Northern Hemisphere summer that starts on June 1st. In India, deaths were reported to have spiked as a result of sustained high temperatures. Extreme heat has also been recorded in Spain, Iran and Vietnam. A 6.2 magnitude earthquake hit Indonesia's Papua province on Monday morning. The epicenter of the quake was at a depth of 33 kilometers. The National Geophysics Agency of Indonesia said that there was no tsunami potential. The quake was strongly felt in Jayapura, the capital Papua, and there were no immediate reports of damage or even casualties. Indonesia straddles the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, a highly seismically active zone. Heavy rains lashed streets of Chicago. Vehicles were trapped after thunderstorms hit the area. NASCAR officials are forced to cancel last half of Xfinity Series race. The baseball game between Cleveland Guardians and their host, the Chicago Cubs, was also delayed. The National Weather Service issued flash flood warning and asked residents to limit travel. Let's talk business on Speed News now. Asia's factory activity faced a major setback in June. Surveys cited by Reuters revealed that sluggish demand in China and advanced nations is casting a shadow over the region's exporters. While China's manufacturing activity managed marginal expansion, powerhouses Japan and South Korea witnessed contraction, threatening the fragile economic recovery in Asia. These surveys highlight the toll of China's weaker than expected rebound from COVID lockdowns on the region. Adding to the concerns, aggressive interest rate hikes in the United States and Europe may further dampen the outlook for Asian manufacturers. Sri Lanka's Parliament has made a significant decision in the face of a severe financial crisis. The Parliament has approved a crucial debt restructuring plan essential to secure a $2.9 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. The approval of the debt restructuring plan is not just crucial for the IMF bailout, but also for advancing negotiations with bond holders and key bilateral creditors such as China, Japan and India. The injection of funds from the IMF bailout earlier this year has already shown some positive impact, taming inflation, boosting dollar inflows and stabilizing the country's currency. EV maker Tesla's ambition to make its charging technology a standard across the United States has hit a roadblock in the U.S. state of Texas. A report accessed by Reuters shows several EV charger makers opposed to Texas's plan, seeking them to include Tesla's charging technology as well as the combined charging standard technology to electrify highways in the U.S. state.